wholeness and balanced vibrations. So today I'm coming in because we're still within the energies of the full moon over the weekend and the lunar eclipse, and many portals with many planets being in alignment, still being in retrograde, and really looking at the deeper meaning within the soul self, the inner self, with all of this, because everything happens within us. Nothing is on the outside. And before I do this, I request you to hit the subscribe button down below, and please share with your family and friends and loved ones. And don't forget to hit the bell as well, so that you're informed of future YouTubes that come out on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Simply because I'm accountable to being. So I was thinking today in my meditation with Guru Purnima, which is Guru meaning, Gu means darkness and Ru means light. And Guru Purnima is honoring your teachers who have enabled you to evolve beyond your own darkness within to bring out the light within self. And that is the only meaning of a guru, to allow you to eventually become your own guru. It is a guiding light. And the full moon was very much, especially being within a lunar eclipse as well, and was really asking us now as a consciousness, as a humanity, and as an individual self, to really daring to be free to let go of those branches of our tree as a whole, of those branches that do not serve us anymore, and how we can let go of our attachments to those branches. And it's allowing you to really go within, rest within the pauses between the words in your journey, in your road, in your traveling. It's about being attentive to yourself by being awake and aware in each moment, and stopping like a full stop at those pauses, and allowing your breath to come in and nurture the inner self, just like a beloved would. It's asking us to stop the brakes, take a pause, so that we can come up to look at any of the blockages, the patterns, the belief structures that we're holding on to, mentally, emotionally, physically, that is stopping our agility, our flow in going forwards. When we begin to see clearly in our life, when the veils have been removed, we can then begin to understand and overstand that all of these sufferings were simply brought upon the self by external attachments, external dependencies, external neediness, because we had simply forgotten our true self, the love of the being, the wholeness of the being. And that is the point where we learn to recognize the essential need to detach oneself, the inner self, from the external self. When you hang on to something so tight, imagine sand in your hand that you're holding on to so tight, the sand actually starts to come out between all the spaces between the fingers. But if we learn to just accept it for what it is and hold space for it, it doesn't go anywhere. And we're allowing it to just be a being by allowing ourself to reflect that. So when you hold on to something, you flatten it, you repress it. And why do you do this? Because you're repressing your own being. You're stopping your own light from coming forward, your own creative energy. And when it becomes too many attachments or too many blockages, you just can't see that light anymore, or the love that is within anymore. And so realizing that clinging on to something is really a self-destructive process that can be called a form of spiritual suicide, Because your higher self is simply having a human experience. I'm not the body. I am not the mind. I am a soul. Let that land. Allow that to drop into your consciousness. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am a soul. And when I say detaching yourself from something, it doesn't mean you stop caring or you completely leave it or you have this uncaring attitude towards it. No. Ask yourself in each moment, what would love do right now? For example, when a mother loves her children so much, unconditionally loving her children, she will also have the ability to tell them off in a loving way because she wants to guide them like a dolphin parent in the right way, not sitting on top of them like a conditional parent or a helicopter parent, squashing them. So detachment does not mean to stop caring or to be cold or dry. But in order to free ourselves from any mental or emotional clutter or suffering, we need to practice the detachment of all those qualities that are holding us back from seeing our true self within. And often we overcome fear or loss that we associate with some sort of detachment. And we start to possess things. But know that possession is a mirage, it's an illusion, because then it starts possessing you. As I repeated once again, in the spiritual process, from the spiritual point of view, it is not possible to possess anything, as we are spiritual beings having this human experience right now. So I invite you to look at life like a wave or a roller coaster that's coming and going, toing and fraying, on this roller coaster rides of ebbs and flows and ups and downs. But who are you being throughout this? And hanging on to anything is simply quite a waste of time and energy. If we can come to realize this, we will be very close to experiencing happiness within, our joy, the enjoyment within, and the freedom of being, the mukti that I often speak about. But this can only come by exercising a muscle within you. Freeing oneself from any form of suffering is not achieved with a desire to be free, because that desire still contains some sort of an attachment, and the freedom then just becomes a concept. It has to come from a true intent. An intent is different from a desire. Intentions carry actionables. You have an inner intent and an outer intent. First comes the inner intent from your heart, and you put it outwards as an outer intent into your outer reality by following an actionable that you are going to be responsible for to manifest your pure intent. Desire still contains that attachment, and too much desire can simply push away what you were really desiring in the first place. And this is the difference between intent and desire, because intentions that are pure can bring about the most beautiful freedom of being, because you've stopped clinging and you're simply allowing. And how do we do this? We stop identifying with the object or the person or the thing that we are so attached to. That object is usually something that is external. People, places, things, animals, ideas, beliefs, patterns, memories. We need the courage, often needing a guiding hand, somebody who's been there, experienced it, who can guide you, to let go of our attachments. And above all, this must be done on a mental and emotional level first, in order to manifest into the physical dense structure. And it's a question of strengthening the courage within to maintain that detachment on a regular basis, especially when external pressures, which are generally through other people, or our inner forces of our own personal habits, incite us to cling on. But this simply creates another dependency on the attachment to ourselves again, and it turns into a vicious circle. So when we learn to let go, and full moons are a good time to let go, we realize that it's the road towards true freedom. Let go and let God, as the old saying says. And what does it mean? That God frequency, that creator frequency, that source frequency is within you. It's always been within you, and it always will be. You will always exist, just in different physical forms, in different bodysuits. And we recognized to what point we had attached ourselves to this item, people, person, place, object, and become so dependable on it, so needy of it. But in the process, what happened? We simply learnt to not know ourselves. So when someone stops attaching themselves or depending on certain things or not clinging on to certain things, or histories or scenarios or family belief systems or historic belief systems or environmental belief systems or situations or possessions or habits or personality traits, what do you think can happen? Stop, pause, take a breath and sit in that space. Sit in that silence. What can happen is we find ourselves within our own open space, our inner sanctuary, our inner beingness, whatever you want to call it. And this is infinite potential. This is limitless. This doesn't have any barriers, and it doesn't contain any objects. It simply is. It is a place of tranquility. It is a place of serenity. It is a place of love. It is your light within. It is attached to nothing, but connected to everything. And in this place lives love, true love, unconditional love that's not dependent on anything outside of it. This is the place of your birthright. And this is the place where love emerges from your beingness. And when you tap into this place and exercise that muscle, you realize that the true gem, the true diamond of tranquility and happiness that seemed to you to come from outer dependencies through relationships, etc., etc., is only temporary and often only superficial. Between those moments of induced happiness, there is a fear. And to see and understand this process of attachment, you need to meditate and come into your own self-awareness of attention, alertness, and ask yourself, am I awake? Am I aware? Because this sort of meditation opens the doors to your inner sanctuary and allows you to quieten the mind of illusion so that your heart can open. And worried minds and closed hearts make it very difficult for us to see this place, this space. But this space of true awareness, true freedom of being, allows us to free from the chains and anchors that were stopping us from being liberated beings of pure love and pure light. And it is only from this space you start to discover and rise in love with your authentic self, your empowered self, and you start to access your own spiritual powers that were innately always with you. They never left you. They were just simply covered up by beliefs and conditions and false concepts, blah, blah, blah. Listen to your inner guidance system, your inner sat-nav system, because that is the voice connected to your inner self-empowered authenticity. This is the voice of your soul, your true self. And the more you practice this, the more empowered you will become, because it will simply remind you every day of how free you really are. As I've said before, you came rawly naked into this world and were just covered up by various beliefs. Come back to that raw, authentic self. Don't hook yourself up into other people's beliefs and structures. Because what happens then is you will get upset because of the attachments you carry around those. These energies at the moment are asking you to let go and let the God within emerge. We came here naked with open hands, and we will leave here naked with open hands. The rest is all experience. So how do you want to experience your life? Let's leave it to the essential that we need right now, because the clock is ticking away. And so when we meditate, we can empty ourselves of all this accumulated garbage, loading us with the superfluous, non-harmonious noises that do not serve our higher self, do not serve here, the portal to the higher realms. And the more we empty ourselves to all that is unnecessary in sitting in silence, we come back to more and more aspects of wholeness of being. And through this we start to create as a soul essence. So I invite you right now to gently close your eyes. Sit in a comfortable position. Breathe in and out through your nose. And join me in a meditation. And as you relax your body, just follow the rhythm of your breathing. Feel the calmness of the ebb and flow of your breath, your prana. Listen to the sounds of your breath caressing your body. And allow all the external sounds to also be in the space surrounding you. But in this moment, decide that you are going to separate your attention from the external world and follow the rhythm and movement with your breath into your internal world of being. And say these words mentally to yourself. I let go of the strings that pull on my mind. I let go of the strings of attachment that pull on my emotions. I let go of the strings of attachment that pull on my intellect. And I let go of the strings of attachment that pull on my physical being. In this moment, I let go of all the strings of all my relationships, responsibilities, the masks that I play, the roles I fit into throughout the day. Because this moment right now is only for me in my beingness and my own company. And I allow all my attention, all my energy to come to a point at the center of my forehead. The cosmic point of light of my soul seat. And as I concentrate on this point, this light, I allow it to experience true freedom. I allow this light to free myself of any limited beliefs, stopping the awareness of my soul. I allow this light to free myself of any labels within myself, of any limited roles beyond this physical world. And I allow this light to show myself that I am a spiritual being, a single point of light, a spark of spiritual energy, of awareness that's always awake. I allow this light to show me my true freedom of authentic beingness, and that I don't have to prove anything to anyone, and to simply be who I am naturally, radically, authentically, as a tranquil being of light. And from this place, I can go into actionables in my life, to take actions, knowing that this light is my guiding force, my power force. So I take a breath, and you can gently again start listening to all the sounds in your surroundings, but with the awareness that you choose each moment for what you would like it to be, and ask yourself in that moment, what would love do right now? And how am I going to respond to whatever is happening from the point of this light? And I invite you to come back into this space with the lightness of your being, and just connect to your breath again. Rub your hands together. Just put them gently over your face. And Namaste simply means I honor the soul being and the light within myself. So Namaste, Namaskaram, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Thank you.